Welcome back to the continuation of our Endwalker playthrough. Oh, that last episode was good. It was good. We've gone through Hermes' thought process on the, I guess, difference between what is life, what isn't life, and the sanctity of life in general. How much hurt it brings him to have to dispel the life that he creates. Does it actually constitute as life? The other Ascians just do their duty as they feel it is sacred, well, not exactly sacred, but it is the most essential thing. Whereas he dreams bigger and sees, no, these creatures deserve a chance no matter what. And so we're going to continue by speaking with Hythlodeus. Where to now? If there is anywhere you would like to visit before we leave, I should be glad to show you the way. Hermes has not yet outright refused his position with the convocation, merely postponed the decision. As such, I may as well resume my assessment. If we cannot accompany him, then I will content myself with questioning his colleagues. Ever the pragmatist, then allow me to remain your humble guide. And what of you, Kobe? Will you continue along with us? Wonderful. Our fellowship travels on unbroken. I say we explore another part of Elpis, and see what new encounters there are to be had. If you would follow me, we will first head back towards Anagnosis. Heart of amber and autumn tide. Bum, 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 dun, dun, dun. So the last place we have to go that we haven't been to yet is Oikos. In Calamelios Zephyros. And this first island is Philomethus Notos. I really like this zone. It's so beautiful. It's so fucking gorgeous. What level was this quest as well, by the way? 87. Oh, we're onto the 87s. From here, we follow the path northwards towards Notonius. There we will find one of the teleports which facilitate travel between the islands of Elpis. First-time travelers must be accompanied by someone with the requisite permission, which I have previously been granted. We only need to use the device together once, and henceforth you will have leave to use it freely. Shall we? Yes, let's use the teleporter. There's some Ixions up there. It's a fate. It's so crazy seeing all these creatures that were conceived in Elpis, on Etheris. And they're just around, idling. Here we are, Notonius. This teleporter will take us to Calamelios Zephyros, the western island. There it is right there, looming large over us. Step this way, and we can soon admire the view from above.
I present to you Calamelios Zephyros. Here you will find a number of testing facilities, as well as the observation hub of Poiton Oikos.
Poiton Oikos.
Right then. Let's begin by... Well, well. An Arrhaeus. How delightful.
I believe it's a Spriggan. Nah, it's an Arrhaeus. Sure, buddy.
And what, pray tell, is that?
Ah, that's a new species of shark. We approved the concept but a few days ago. Sharks are among the most popular sea creatures. Rare is the day when someone does not submit a new concept. At first, they were largely orthodox, consideration given to such things as size and environmental impact, and then a whimsical someone thought to bestow it with flight, another superior intelligence. And then the floodgates burst. Concepts with multiple heads, or arms and legs, and so on and so forth. It was getting absurd. A part of me wanted to tell them to go away and find something else to create, but in the end, I couldn't deny their passion. And here we are.
Oh? It's Venat.
That was too close. Are you unharmed? Well now, if it isn't a pair of familiar faces.
Well... is it Venat or Heidelin? That's the question.
Benar!
Vinar, there we go.
Here.
Okay, so it's Vinar. Yeah, it's Vinar.
As I mentioned earlier, the better part of the convocation holds that when we retire is when we return to the star. Well, she is not among said majority. Even after stepping down, she carries on with her work. Vinar is her name, and she is the previous Azem.
Oh my god! Holy motherfucking shit! Oh, my god! Screenshot! Oh my god! Oh my god! Dude! That's nuts! Oh my god!
It has been a while, Hythlodaeus. You look well. Less so, Emet-Selch. I dare say the lines upon your brow have both deepened and doubled in number.
Dude!
A shame for one so young. You must make an effort to frown less often.
Easier said than done, thanks to your unruly successor.
How is he, if I may ask?
Incorrigible as ever. Rushed headlong into a volcano on the brink of eruption just the other day. I should be glad to share the tale in its entirety later, if you're so inclined.
Oh, you know I am. Now then, you are? I say, have you perchance come from the future?
Yes.
I do not believe we have ever met, yet I sense my magic upon you. Therefore, if I wove the enchantment, I could only have done so at a later point in time.
What manner of magic is this, if I may ask?
A traveler's ward, of course. It prevents the corruption of one's ether.
That sounds like the blessing of light.
I see you are not ignorant to its presence. And while there are many protective spells, the one you bear is unmistakably mine.
Hold on. From the future? That's absurd.
I all but just confirmed it.
What is it? Are you unable to speak of the matter?
Speaking of, it may change events. Yes.
The reality to which you must return exists as a result of the final days. You cannot reshape the past to undo the tragedies of the present.
So, your actions here will not change your history, but they may yet affect the course of ours. How very exciting! I'm quite fond of delving into the unknown, and there's naught more unknown than the future. Until a moment finally arrives, we cannot know for certain what will come to pass, regardless of our supposed foreknowledge, so you needn't worry for us. More importantly, that you should go to such great lengths as to travel unto the past bespeaks the gravity of your quest. Will you not reveal it to us? Mayhap we can be of aid to your cause.
I don't know if I can.
If this is true, then you've been keeping quite the secret to yourself. As a representative of the Convocation, I will hear it all. Your identity, purpose, everything.
I don't know if I can, bro. This is the problem.
Why don't we move to a place more conducive to calm conversation?
I want to
I've been
tell.
working here for some days now at an old friend's behest.
I want to tell Emmett. I want to tell Hythlodaeus. I want to tell Venar. I don't know if I can.
If it is agreeable, we may make use of my accommodation at Poiton Oikos. We were meant to meet. I am certain of it.
I wonder. I wonder if we tell them about the final days. Now, that the final days still needs to happen on Aetheris. I wonder if they give us, or that means that if we get back, that gives us time that gives them time to then in the future let us know of a way to avert the final days. I wonder. That'd be interesting.
Else I wouldn't have marked you so clearly, and sent you unto myself in the past. It's precisely the sort of mischief I would get up to, and quite inspired, if I do say so myself.
Yeah, you're a big old fucking crystal right now. You're hot, but I mean, yeah, you're hot, but I mean, you are kind of a big old crystal. My apologies, but before we move along, a colleague has tasked me with a matter which I'd rather not leave unresolved. It involves finding a certain concept in Grave Crystal, and the quick-fingered Aureus which made off with it. An Aureus, you say? I think we might have seen the culprit before being distracted by that business with the shark. Would you like us to follow its ethereal trail? That would of course lead us only to the Aureus. There is no guarantee that it hasn't dropped or stashed away the crystal you seek. Please, even that much would be enormously helpful. While you are hunting down the thief, I can follow behind and scour the forest floor just in case. Could I ask you to join the search? I would greatly appreciate another pair of eyes to cover the land of the west of here. Many thanks. There's a small bridge leading into Poiton Oikos. Let us meet up there once we've exhausted our efforts. Oh my god. That's so cool. Well, I love Vanar. Oh, that's sick, dude. That one line. Vanar is the previous Azem. Oh my god. Deliver the concept crystal to Vanar. A last searcher returns. I'm afraid the Aureus no longer had the crystal, nor was I able to find it as I followed in its wake. I don't suppose you fared any better. I did, actually. It's a actual crystal. The crystal, well done. Wonderful. Now I can focus on your tale without that missing concept nagging at my mind. Have you always had a knack for finding things? I've done a lot of fetch quests. Ah, there we go. I've done a lot of fetch quests. You too. Some of us seem destined to always be searching, for ourselves and for others. Long ago, when I held the seat of Azam, I was forever trekking back and forth across the star in search of answers to people's problems. Naturally, the need for such journeys has lessened considerably since I entrusted the position to my whimsical successor. Yet I am still eager to come running. Could an old acquaintance or new interest require my personal attention? That is what brings me to Elpis, in fact. Many times has my presence been requested, my opinion sought concerning the habitat of this or that creation. Agreeing to help locate the missing crystal was a minor distraction, which now promises to become a major revelation. How strange and wonderful it is, the way that one thing leads to another. Wouldn't you agree? Thank you again for your timely help. Now then, 'tis time I return this stolen property. If you would go on ahead to my accommodation, I will join you as soon as I have attended to that task. Follow the path straight ahead to the building at the top of the slope. I have the entire place to myself, so we can speak without fear of being disturbed or overheard. There is an aetheryte right here. There's Vanar. Welcome to my temporary abode. Please, make yourself at home while I put on some tea.
wonderful aroma. I feel more relaxed already.
Would
They're
that I
playing a
had
piano
sweetmeats
version.
to offer, but I travel light out of habit.
They're playing a piano version of Answers.
There's plenty of hot water though, so please have as much tea as you like. Now then, will you tell us your tale?
Can I?
Why don't you start from the beginning?
Braille. I think that was Braille, not Hades. There we go, there's Emet-Selch in Amarot. Fighting Zodiac. The world experiencing the final days. Or an echo of it.
Preposterous. Utterly preposterous.
While not the words I would have chosen, I too have my doubts. Much of it borders on the incredulous. What of you, Vanar?
Not knowing the precise details of the first final days, it is difficult to determine the veracity of the tale. Supposing it is all true, I must ask myself why I would do what I did. Why would I feel I had no recourse but to oppose the 14 and create this Heidelin? Circumstances change, of course, but it would not have been an easy decision regardless. No, there must have been a reason. One compelling enough to force me to take such drastic measures. Then there is the Elpis flower, which I said would serve as a guide. That it's of import to your mission is plain, but your presence here leads me to believe that this place also holds significance. But what could it be? What are we meant to accomplish?
Might it not be simply thus? In the future whence he came, the final days could not be averted. Mankind has no choice but to flee the star. By alerting us to that eventuality, perhaps you wish to pave the way for other futures.
We can't let that happen though.
Theoretically speaking, it is a possibility. Yet if that were my primary objective, I see no reason to guide our friend to Elpis specifically. The capital in Amarot, or even my own home would be more logical destinations.
True, true. I note also that Heidelin did not specify a point in time to which he must return. By this, it may be inferred that it was not critical that we should meet.
Alternately, she had reason to believe that our paths would converge. coincidental though it may seem.
This is quite a puzzle. And we do not have all the pieces.
Hardly any. But we do have one immutable fact. If the final days are indeed as described, they will bring death to all that I hold dear. Yet despite being afforded long years of preparation, the only provisions I could make were for flight. Nay, my first and foremost endeavor would be to find a way to forestall the coming doom.
Given that even the 14 failed, mayhap you deemed it impossible.
Nothing is impossible. This I have always believed. And if Hydaelyn is indeed me, she would believe the same.
Listen to yourself. Are you seriously entertaining the notion that you are a messianic figure in some far-fetched tale? Well, I will not. I refuse to accept that our world could be undone by some unforeseen calamity. I also take offense to my portrayal as a megalomaniacal madman.
Oh, that's so... Oh, man. Of course he would. Oh, Emet-Selch in the future was obviously genocidal and had to be done away with. He wanted, you know, it was obviously genocidal, wanting to, you know, kill basically everyone to bring back everything that he held dear. But he doesn't see himself as able to even do that at the moment. Oh man, we're dealing with little baby Emmett. Oh, that's so sad. Oh god.
To sacrifice oneself for the star is a noble act, and I would hold those who gave themselves to this zodiac in the highest esteem. Yet, you claim I recreated Amarot and populated it with phantoms of our people? A bizarre indulgence that would be insulting to their memory. Worse still, I even invited you there. Literally invited my own downfall. Why would I do something so idiotic and inexplicable? Now, I will allow that the hypothetical task of restoring our world would be daunting in the extreme. The thought of having to bear such a burden for 1,000 lives horrifies me. But I would never forsake my duty. I would never forsake my brethren. You do not know me. I've had my fill of your fiction. I will return to my duty, and you will not bother me again.
Oh.
Emet-Selch! Wait!
You've seen much of Elpis already. If you have any observations to share, I should like to hear them.
Hermes and Meteor are somehow involved. Dynamis is a key. I'm gonna have to say Hermes and Meteor. Dynamis is a key. It's obvious, right? But Meteor.
Hermes and his creation Meteor, you say?
Yes. I know that there's something to do with Meteor in here.
If Dynamis is the self-same energy as Akasha, as it likely seems, then those two may well be at the center of the calamity to come. This warrants further investigation. With that settled, tis time for action. The missing pieces of the puzzle are here, I'm certain of it. And when you find them, the picture my future self has painted will be complete, and you will have your answer. And suffice it to say, I will aid you in your quest. Have faith. If Emet-Selch is the man Azum described to me, we've not seen the last of him.
There's 3 Azums at the moment. Old Azum, current Azum, and me, future Azum. Oh, dude. Shall we begin our investigations then? I am acquainted with Hermes, of course, but only as a visitor received by the chief overseer of Elpis. Of the man himself, I know only that which is common knowledge. Thus, I suggest we fall back on the tried and true method of conversing with the locals. The observers who live here can surely tell us more of Hermes and Meteion, and I have a good idea of where we might begin. So, okay. See you the woman standing in front of yonder building. Her name is Ismain. She is the one who made arrangements for my stay in Elpis, and for what I recall, she held her position here for quite some time. Chances are she can provide us with some insights. Go and ask your questions. I will help with drawing out answers if need be, but I leave the choice of topic up to you. Let's go talk to Ismain. Questions? For me? Well, I suppose I have no other pressing duties at the moment. The following events can maybe... okay. Greetings, Ismain. My friend here is desperately curious about Chief Hermes. I was wondering if you might indulge him. Certainly, Mistress Benar. Anything to be of service. What do you wish to know? What kind of person is Hermes? Well, I can only answer from my own experience, but I would describe him as a quiet man, reserved, you might say, and occasionally somewhat poor with his choice of words. His reticent nature, however, does not prevent him from carrying out his duties as chief overseer. The man is a walking archive when it comes to life forms. He can discuss any species in incredible detail, and is the leading authority on concepts with the power of flight. I hope that answers your question. Is there anything else? Do you know of Meteion's abilities? It's no secret that she is a highly unusual familiar. Of late, the chief often makes his rounds with her, like a mother hen raising her chick. I understand that she is able to read emotions and communicate directly with one's mind. Exactly how she was created with that talent, however, is a mystery to me. My apologies. I wish I could explain her nature in more depth. I have not had occasion to discuss it with Chief Hermes. Do you trust him? I beg your pardon? I've known Chief Hermes for many years, though I cannot say we're close. He has never withheld information to the detriment of our duties, if that's what you mean. Forgive us. We seem to have veered slightly off course here. Is there perhaps someone else who could tell us more about Meteion? That'd be Timolos. He has a similar experience with flying concepts and is more than eager to discuss the subject. You'll find him conducting his observations on the banks of the stream, somewhere to the east. Oh, and unless you take a particular joy in rambling discourse, I suggest you keep your questions concise. We shall keep that in mind. Thank you for your patience and insight. Think nothing of it. If there is aught else you need during your stay, please do not hesitate to ask. Come, Kobe. I think we've taken enough of Ismane's time. Our investigation is off to a fine start, wouldn't you agree? From here, I propose that we split up. I shall continue making inquiries with the resident observers. If you could track down the colleague Ismane mentioned. While I did feel compelled to interject once or twice during that previous conversation, you seem more than capable of drawing forth the answers you seek. All I ask is that you watch your footing around the stream. We can meet back here once you finish speaking with this Timolos. Timolos? Yes, I'm Timolos, but please keep your voice down. You'll startle the birds. So, what is it you wish to speak about? What do you think of Chief Hermes' flying creations? Chief Hermes' work, a worthy subject indeed. Those beings which soar through the clouds, majestic and graceful, are ever a favourite of creators. Even now, with so many varieties in existence, the flood of newly imagined concepts continues unabated. What sets the Chief's creations apart, however, is how they benefit from his boundless knowledge of the celestial realm. Birds that climb so high they disappear from view, others which traverse the boundless sky in moments, and all without riding the currents. I know of none save he who can conceive of such marvels. Even we who prize elegance in form above all else are dumbfounded by his genius. Meteon too is a marvel. My opinion on that matter would be superficial at best. Despite my admiration for Meteon as a concept, I never delve too deeply into the inner workings of her nature. I know that she has a gift for communicating via emotions, but otherwise her abilities are a mystery to me. If Chief Hermes should choose to submit Meteon's concept to the Bureau of the Architect, then will the design be registered for public scrutiny? Analyzing a colleague's creation before that step is frowned upon, to say the least. Of course, if he came to me, a fellow artisan looking for advice, that would be an entirely different story. Do you know of Dynamis and Entelechies? Dynamis and Entelechies? Those terms do sound vaguely familiar. Was there not a flower made here in Elpis which exhibited properties of one or the other? It must have been centuries since I last heard anyone speak of such things. Has there been a resurgence in interest? Then why bring up the subject? I'm flattered that you saw my insight, but I cannot afford to neglect my duties for the sake of idle chatter. Now I really must return to my observations. Surely you have your own tasks to attend to. So the only one really studying, Entelechies is Hermes. Back already, that was quick work. You were obviously clever enough to head off any of that rambling Ismane mentioned. So have you any new findings to share? I see, even an expert in the field had little understanding of Meteon's capabilities, let alone an awareness of Dynamis. My questions resulted in much the same answers. Hermes' colleagues view Meteon as his personal project and could provide no details beyond those which he just told me. Which leads me to believe that the only person with any significant knowledge of Dynamis is Hermes himself. Yes, we've made some progress here, but the information is needed if we are... more information is needed if we are to reach any definitive conclusions. At present, the strongest link we have to the final days is the power of Dynamis, and the entelecties which can control it. Yet most scholars are only vaguely aware of these terms, let alone study them in any depth, except for Hermes, of course. Thus I am inclined to stay our current course, and learn all we can about the Chief Overseer and his familiar. And on that subject, was there aught else of note that you can tell me about Meteon, aside from her unorthodox method of communication? She and her sisters were created to scour the stars. I rather wish you had mentioned that earlier. In any event, would you care to elaborate? So these siblings of hers now travel the great expanse in search of deeper meaning. Thank you. Though the mystery at hand remains unsolved, I feel you've touched upon a vital clue, one we should keep in mind as we continue. Now I propose we take ourselves to Peripetia Crystalline, not far from here. Just follow the path through the west. This tower and the one further along are both part of Peripetia Crystalline, the facility where they archive all of Elpis' observational and testing records. Despite how they appear from the outside, the interior is actually a vastly of magically interconnected spaces, which, while fascinating, is not the reason we're here, is it? I shall cut my architectural lesson short and see what those two archivists have to share. If you could find someone to speak with over at the other tower, I shall join you there anon. You have questions for me? Certainly. Just a moment while I conclude my current appointment. Indeed. So if you could provide a comprehensive log of those behaviors, we should then have sufficient data for our official records. Now, what was it you wish to speak with me about? The Chief Overseer's personal research project, and by that I assume you mean Meteor? Such undocumented studies are difficult to track. After all, hardly a day goes past without seeing a researcher trailed by one creation or another. I'm afraid I cannot tell you exactly when Meteon appeared, only that she now spends most of her time at Chief Hermes' side. Although, I do recall an interesting tale my dearest Galeen shared with me. Galeen is my partner, and a fellow researcher here in Elpis. She was returning late one night when she caught sight of Chief Hermes sending Meteon heavensward, a host of them. For several days she would speak of that scene with wonder, describing it as one of the most beautiful spectacles she had ever witnessed. This sounds like a story I should like to hear. Mistress Vinar, I thought you had already returned to the surface. Permit me to thank you again for your invaluable contribution to our concept placement approval. Pray, do not mention it. As you say, my original plan was to leave after that task, but I have since become engrossed with Chief Hermes' research. Would you favour me with a retelling of this sight which so delighted your Galeen? Of course, or you could hear it from her lips directly if you prefer. At present, she should be observing a subject, Emet-Selch Thalassa. She does enjoy her time there, watching the sea creatures hunt and play, gazing upon the salty waters of the world's oceans, recreated in such sublime detail. I imagine you must find similar joy in indulging your boundless curiosity, Mistress Vinar, even though such pursuits may continually and regretfully delay your return to the star. Indeed they do. 'Tis a rest well deserved and long overdue, I should think. How greatly have we prospered for the wisdom you accumulated during your travels as a Zen. And what would Elpis be without your earlier academic work? The theories you developed served as the basis of many techniques still in use today. Man is a creature of contemplation, but none embody that nature with as much enduring passion as you. I dare say there is not a soul alive more worthy of a return. I shall rejoice the day you depart on your final journey. I will be honoured. Well, shall we take this opportunity to meet with Galeen in person? Then allow me to reconfigure the door to the archives here. It will take you up to the Skyway and spare you the need to avoid hostile concepts on the ground. That would be helpful, thank you. I've opened the path to the Skyway. Once you pass through the door, simply walk straight across to the next tower and ask for admittance to the upper tier. Upon arriving at the upper tier, walk straight across the Skyway and you will find yourself at the entrance to Emet-Selch Thalassa. Galeen will be eager to share her tale with you, I'm sure. Holy. Nice. Oh, this place is just so many gorgeous views. Mistress Vinar, just passing through. Then allow me to prepare the path. If you need further assistance, there is always an observer or two out on the upper skyway. Mistress Vinar, I was not told to expect. We would have prepared an official welcome. Please, there is no need for fanfare. I only wish to speak with Galeen, if that might be arranged. Yes, Galeen, of course. I will inform her immediately. But she may be engaged in a testing phase. You could be in for something of a wait. Should I let her know your business is urgent? That won't be necessary. This lovely view will keep us occupied until she is ready to receive us.
A delightful breeze and a breathtaking view. What is it like in the future? Is the world still a beautiful place?
It is.
I swear I could hear the glimmer in your eyes and the adoration in your voice. While we wait, will you not tell me about your adventures? Well, not the portentous events which led you here, but the simple delights all your own. By learning about the future world, I may gain insight into future me's plans. But more than that, I have an interest simply as a fellow traveler. Short of going somewhere oneself, there's naught more stirring than hearing another's account. Incredible. Would that I could have been there to see it.
You are there to see it.
Yours is a harsh and unforgiving world. Yet in spite of this, your brethren hold fast to their virtue. To know that the light of mankind's potential still shines, even in that faraway place, it gives me heart. Thank you for regaling me with your tales. I will treasure every word. As you know, I was once a scholar. And among other things, I sought to understand the workings of the world. What exactly is ether? How formed the laws of nature? Whence sprung mankind? Riddles and mysteries beyond counting. Over the years, I have managed to find answers to some few of them. Yet rather than attain a sense of mastery, the more I understood, the more I came to hold the world and its miracles in awe. We too are miracles, each and every one of us, born of the warm breath of life that traverses the heavens, swirling through eternity. When I fully grasped the improbability of our existence, nothing felt impossible anymore. If it could be imagined, it could be done. A passion swelled within me, an epiphany dispelling all preconceptions of what was natural and true, and a presence without, immense yet intimate, fate perhaps, holding us in its tender embrace. As reassuring as it was intimidating, how keenly aware I became of creation's fragility, built as it is upon precarious happenstance. I was overcome with an irrepressible urge to know the world more intimately, to hear its voice, feel its breath. I ventured forth on a journey that very day, so very long ago now. Freed from presumption and prejudice, I saw the world through a newborn's eyes. Everything fresh and new, and so beautiful. Lands that stretched on forever. Skies one could drown in. The heartbeat of nature, silent yet strong. And amidst it all a people, beacons of light and life. Laughter that warmed my heart like naught else before. They are my meaning, and my purpose, my love. And so long as they need help, I cannot return to the star. Perhaps my future self is still waiting for it. The moment she can let go and walk unto the end. Safe in the knowledge that man will find his own way. You, who are our future, tell me this, and tell me true. Has your journey been good? Has it been worthwhile?
Yes. Yes, yes it has. Aww.
Pray forgive my lateness.
You could have just not interrupted for like 5 minutes.
My observation
I love them now.
subject was rather irritable, and it took a while to settle it down.
Oh, there's so much I love about this expansion, dude. Oh, so good. Holy shit.
No need to apologize. Your work takes precedence. Besides, we had a pleasant conversation in the meantime.
You're too kind. Now then, I'm told you wished to ask me some questions.
Indeed. I've an interest in one of Hermes' creations. Meteon. You witnessed a host of them take flight, yes?
Oh, that! Yes, I did. 'Twas in the dark of the morn. I'd left the Thalassai after nocturnal observation. As I walked along, I spied a bright light climbing high into the southeastern skies. Then, in an instant, it was gone, like a shooting star, only rising rather than falling. But then another shot up, then another, and another. Intrigued, I made my way to the edge to investigate. And who should I spy on an isle to the south but Hermes and Meteon, the Metea, rather. There were lots of them, and I realized They must be the shooting stars that I'd seen.
A dazzling spectacle indeed. Have you spoken with Hermes about this?
Oh, yes. The sight left such an impression on me that I approached him about his mystery project the very next day. Alas, he said that he couldn't reveal anything just yet, that he needed to conduct further tests. It shouldn't be long now, though. He often returns to that isle, and I have a feeling he's nearing a breakthrough.
Oh, a breakthrough. That could be it.
Splendid. We are likewise eager for the details. Well, that is all we wish to ask. Thank you for taking the time to indulge our curiosity.
You're very welcome. It's always a pleasure to speak with other inquisitive souls. Oh, and will you be descending now? If so, I shall link the doors for you.
Please.
Oh, oh, so good. Oh. So this breakthrough could very well be the catalyst to the final days. So another piece of the puzzle falls into place. From what we've learned thus far, I think we can safely conclude that Hermes hasn't been revealing the details of his research to others, which suggests that either someone will appropriate his discoveries and make use of them, or that Hermes himself will have a hand in causing the final days. Since we have no reason yet to suspect the former, we should consider the latter the more likely possibility. Proceeding under that assumption, our next step should be to divine why, or even if, he might desire such a terrible fate for our star. Just summon a horn. I should like to visit the site from which Hermes sent forth the Mateo. If we are fortunate, we might find some hint of what drives this research of his. Ghislaine said she spotted them in the southeast, rising from an isle she could see from the edge. If we stand at that same vantage point, it should not prove too difficult to locate the isle in question. Let's take a look, shall we? I think we're going to end it there again for a bit, and I may be back on shortly to continue. It's sort of, 3 a.m. But yeah, I think I'll leave it there for now. I'm loving it. I'm enjoying this so much. It's so good. Oh, I love it so much. Ever since I got to this part. Oh, it's so good, man. I was worried for a while that, the Shadowbringers was fucking amazing in every aspect. And I was worried that public perception might see Endwalker, and it not be as strong story-wise, but holy shit, it's so good. I love this story so much. But I shall see you in the next one. Until then, bye-bye.